Let me ask you this. What do you think of a chap who got hired as a television director at the age of 19 and was given Joan Crawford to direct in his first assignment? This was an episode of Night Gallery. He moved from there to episodes of Marcus Welby, Owen Marshall, Columbo, Name of the Game, and of course he was fairly experienced when he got that job at 19 because he had taken over the family's home movie equipment at a very early age, I think 4 probably, and by the time he was in high school he had made dozens of 8mm and 16mm shorts, and he even made a 2.5-hour 8mm epic called Firelight, all about a team of scientists who were investigating mysterious lights in the night sky and things with jaws that came out of them and gobbled things up. He used some of these images later to good advantage as the director of things you might have heard of more than you have: Firelight, Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, to name a couple. He's also the director of the Sugarland Express, 1941, and his latest movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Sounds like the kind of thing I wish I could see and be in at the same time. This is just an open plea for a job. Will you welcome, please, the incredible Steven Spielberg. So, mostly accurate? Yeah, 90%?
Yes,
okay. I've never seen Firelight. I don't know if anyone in our audience has. Is that...
No, they haven't.
Was that... how old were you when you made that flick?
I was 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a...
Is it still?
It's still around. I lost 2 reels. You know, when you lose 8mm
no.
reels, there are no negatives, so it's gone forever. So only about half the film exists.
That's right. The negative becomes the film, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's whatever comes out of the camera store is that's your negative.
Say, among the many things we have in common, one of which is having loved cereals. S-E-R-I-A-L-S.
Yes, I was about to say, yeah.
Make that clear. Yes, he hasn't gone into the food business yet. Yeah, is sneaking into places you're not supposed to be at a precocious age.
Yeah.
I used to love to sneak into studios and usually television. We could compare methods or something.
Yeah.
How'd you work it and what was successful?
Well, I snuck into the studios. Before that, I would sneak into theaters to watch movies for free. I remember one point, it was a terrible story to tell, but I snuck into a theater in Phoenix, Arizona, where I was raised, to see the Michael Rennie production of The Lost World. It's the remake of The Lost World. And I remember going there with a real concoction in like a brown paper bag of cream corn and Parmesan cheese, and making horrible retching sounds from the balcony and squeezing it over on all the people sitting below me, and creating an enormous chain reaction. I mean, upstaging the entire movie, and the lights came up in the theater, and they stopped. It was an enormous fiasco.
And people were saying someone vomited on me, and I wanted to...
Exactly. That was my first brush with theatrics.
That was your first evidence of wit on your part.
Yeah, yes, as I evidenced in 1941. Yeah.
I always heard of that prank, but I never saw anybody do it. I know one even worse, but we'll leave that for some other time. We'll leave that for cable television. But I used to sneak into things like the Martha Raye show and the Jackie Gleason show in New York and see. And the way I did it was somehow I managed to get hold of an envelope from the network with the symbol on it. Walk up to the stage door, and just say, "Hi," to the stage doorman, and he'd go, because they don't want to stop someone they shouldn't and offend them. And I often always got it, and I was often thrown out, however, when they found me crouching somewhere in the place.
I did the same thing with Universal Studios. Very early on, when I was going to Long Beach State College, I snuck onto the lot wearing a coat and tie and carrying a briefcase. And I did the same thing, little eye contact, little briefcase, little tie, and I got right in. And that was fine for about 3 months, and then I was thrown off the lot.
Another good trick is don't look where you're going, because that indicates that you're familiar with the area, even though you're not. Now, you can have some accidents this way, but there's a way of walking. I'm going to give my microphone its first test, but if I'm in a new place, then I would tend to walk, looking around to see where I'm going and where the chair is. But if I'm in a familiar place, I can just walk along and, do this, stuff like that. That never fails. I mean, that always, no one ever questions you if you walk like you know the area so well that you don't have to look where you're going.
Yeah, but if you bump into somebody, it creates such a stir. It's almost a smoke screen that you can sneak out of.
And you got to have a line ready, like, sorry I bumped into you, I found worked.
Getting off the tour bus helps, and sneaking around the back of a soundstage. That helps a lot. I've done that a few times.
Is this dangerous, what we're doing, telling people you're going to have a lot of sneaking people now on your set saying, well, you did it?
It happens all the time. I get people who try to break in. They say, well, you did it all those years ago. And I say, yeah, but I wasn't in, I was in control then, and you're not. Get out.
Yeah. Doesn't necessarily work for everybody.